video. And firstly, I would ask an apology to everyone who watches my videos, because since my health was not okay, I was not able to make videos for the last 3 days of the first week of July Lead Code Challenge. And as a result of which, in this video I would be making all of the things. So first, let's start with the the current problem, today's problem. Okay, so today being July 7, this is July 7th problem. So the problem name is island perimeter. You are given a map in a form of a two-dimensional integer grid where 1 represents land and 0 represents water. Grid cells are connected horizontally, vertically, but they are not connected diagonally. The grid is completely surrounded by water, and there is exactly one island. An island is what but a connected component of ones, right? So if you see an island is nothing but one or more connected land cells. The island doesn't have lakes, so if there is an island, it's highly improbable that island will have lake. So that means I have no such area of water which is surrounded by only land. This is what it means, right? Water inside that is not connected to the water around its island. Yes, one cell is a square with side length 1. The grid is rectangular. Width and height don't exceed 100. Determine the perimeter of the island. So this is a very very good problem, and this is the island. Okay, so let me go ahead and explain you. So this is a problem statement that I have been given. Okay, so here I have been given this matrix, the right hand side matrix, okay, consisting of zeros and ones, and all ones they represent land and all zeros they represent water. So I'll just go ahead and mark the lands, maybe use a green color. Yeah, so these all things that I'm mapping, these ones are basically nothing but this is the same sequence of ones that is present in my input array, right? So this is the 1 1 1 1. Yeah, so if you see, so I have a 1 here, I have a 1 here, and this. So the whole island is taking a shape of the letter J. Okay, so I need to find the perimeter of the island. So every cell, okay, so every cell which has no 1 in it is water, and it's also assumed that everywhere just outside this matrix it's also water. So you can assume that there is another extra row on the on the top and bottom, and there is an extra column on the left and right, and they are all filled with zeros. Now given this question, I have to find the perimeters. Now if you follow me along, this is the perimeter. Okay, so I don't know what's happening. Okay, so can you okay, so this, yeah, so can you follow the square, red square? So I am going through the perimeter. Okay, so this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, right? This is 4, this is 5, this is 6, 7, 8. Notice how 1 unit of that cell is 1 dimension, 1 unit of dimension. So up till here 8, now 9, this is 10, this is 11, this is 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. So the whole perimeter of this island is nothing but 16 units. Okay, so you can see that's the output, 16. So this is the question, and I have to find the perimeter of the island. So this is a very good question, I would say. It's not very tough, but it's very good conceptual question. So tell me one thing, if I had only one piece of land, let's assume that I had only this particular land that I am marking as the island. So if I had only one piece of land, then the perimeter would be nothing but 4, because there are 4 edges that are connected, that encircle this whole island. Now where does my edge count decrease? Let's assume that I have 2 pieces of land. Okay, so I'm marking these 2 pieces of land by green, right? So now the perimeter, if it was individual, it was 4, right? Now the perimeter becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So if we consider 2 individual islands, they have a perimeter, they are not connected, so then they have a perimeter 4. But as soon as I take one island with 4 perimeter, I take another island with 4 perimeter, and I join them up by any side. So that means the side that they are being joined with, that particular side is subtracted, because that is the common side and that lies inside the island. So that should not be considered as a perimeter. So that's why the answer is 6 in this case, in this pseudo example that I've taken. Because if we say, let's say this is 1, or rather this is A and this is B. So if you see, then the A and B islands, the A's perimeter was initially 4, B's perimeter was initially 4 when they were not connected. Now I just took them up and connected to one another. So this is the common edge between them, right? This is the common edge, and this common edge belongs to B, and this common edge also belongs to A. So that's why I would subtract 1 from the total perimeter of B, and I would subtract 1 from the total perimeter of A, and I will add them up. So basically this particular B has a perimeter of, only the portion B has a perimeter of 3 now, because it was earlier 4 and it has one edge common with another piece of land. So that became 4 minus 1, 3. And similarly this particular island of A, it also has a perimeter of 3, because it had earlier 4 perimeter, but since I have joined them, so one particular side has been compromised, because it has been shared by another island, and they both both these sides fall on the inside of the island and not on the outside. So that's why it is not considered as a perimeter, right? So how do I get this answer 16? How do I get this answer 16? If you see, let's just try to simulate our example that we had, the logic that we just built up and solved this. So for this particular one, okay, so I am marking a red tick on all the islands that I have considered, all the piece of land. So this particular one has a perimeter of 3. Now how do I come to know that this particular one has a perimeter of 3? I go to its neighbor, I go to this left side, I'll go to up side, I'll go to right side, I'll go to down side. So when I go to all these 4 sides, I see that I have another one which is located in its down side, okay, and hence they share a edge. So the perimeter acquainted for only this particular one would be 4 minus 1, that is 4 minus the number of edges they share with another island, and so that's 4 minus 1 is 3. Now let's come to this one. Now this particular one shares, I'll again go to its neighbors, up, down, left and right. So I'll find this common edge, I'll find this common edge, I'll find this common edge, and I'll find this common edge. So here also I'm finding common edges. So how many common edges I have? I have 4 common edges. So the perimeter acquainted for this particular one would be nothing but 0, right? So this island accounts for 3 the perimeter, this island accounts for 0 perimeter. Now let's go to its left hand side. Now you need to also see that I'm not going to its upside again, because I know I have already traversed the upward side, right? So I'll have to mark it that it's traversed. So maybe I'll set these 1 values to maybe -1 or maybe 2 or any other value which is except 0 and 1, so that to say that I have I've traversed the point. So I'll go to this again. So I'll go to this left island again, and right now my current answer is 3. So for this left island I'll go up, right, left and down, and I would get one common edge which is on the right hand side with another one. So that's why I'll have for this particular one it will be accountable for 3 units of perimeter. So I have 3 plus 3 6. Similarly this would also account for 3 units, right? So 6 plus 3 I have 9. So similarly when I go to this, so right now I have 9. Okay, right now I have 9. I go to this, and if I go to this island, I see that in the up hand side I have a island, in the downward side I have an island. So I have 2 edges that it shares, because on the left and right these are water, so I have no edges to share. So the perimeter which this island is accountable for is nothing but 4 minus 2, and that's 2. So I have 11 now, right? So I have also traversed this island. Make sure that I am not going to retraverse the island that I have already discovered. So I'll go to the next. Here I'll see that the upward is a common edge, the leftward is a common edge, and I don't have any other common edges. So the perimeter accountable for this particular island would be 2. So I'll have 13, right? As of now I have 13, and I again mark this island that has been visited. I come here in this particular island, and I again see that it has one common edge here, it has no common edges here or any on the left hand, up hand or right down hand side. So the perimeter accountable at this island would be nothing but 4 minus 1, because I have one common edge, and that would be 3. So 13 plus 3, it gives me the answer 16, which is indeed the correct answer. So how am I actually finding the common edges? I'm just at a particular cell. If I want to find the contribution of the perimeter of the whole island for that particular cell, I have to go to the up, left, down and right of that particular cell and see whether I have a 2 or not. Whether I have a 1 or not, or whether I had a 1 or not. Because if you see in this example, when I come here, I have already traversed all my upward ones. So but that doesn't necessarily mean that I will not take them again into account. While traversing I will not take them, but while considering the edges I would have to take all of the ones that are present in my adjacent neighbor cells, right? So what I'll do, my strategy, I would do a BFS. I would start with any of the one. When I visit that one, I'll set that 1 to 2, so that it makes sense that yes, I have visited the array, or if not 2, then maybe -1, anything. So okay, so let's go with -1. That would be easier to code. Why I would tell you that would require less number of codes, because when I be searching for a particular island, I would just use the absolute value. So basically, if this is already traversed and I put -1 here, so when I am here at this island, I can see whether any of my neighboring cell has an absolute value of 1. So it will consider this, although this has been traversed, because -1's absolute value is nothing but 1. So right, so I'll go and do this. So this is how I'll do. I'll first calculate the number of edges, like just as I calculated the number of common edges, and I would subtract these number of common edges from 4 into the total number of ones, because every island would contribute a 4 number of edges, but there would be some common edges, and due to that my total contribution from the whole island systems would be nothing but 4 into the number of ones that are present in the matrix minus the number of common edges. So I'll just go ahead and code it. It's a very simple code, although this is a very conceptual question. I'll maybe declare 2 variables. Int count, this will keep the number of count of 1, and I'll have int edges, this will keep track of the number of common edges. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and for int I equals 0, I less than grid dot size. What I'm searching is I'm searching for the first one, so that I need to start traversing all the island from a 1. I cannot traverse all the island from 0. So that's why I'm searching for 1. So I would normally do a row wise search. So for int j is equals to 0, j less than grid 0 dot size j plus plus. Now what I'll do is if grid of I comma j is equal to 1, that means I have found a island, and what I'll do is I'll just call bfs and I'll pass on the grid, I'll pass on I, I'll pass on j, and I don't think I have to pass on any other variable. We'll see if we have to. And at the end what I'll do is this bfs would be a void type, because this bfs would do nothing but it would update my count and edges, these two values. So since I'm using global variables, every time I need to reinitialize or rather reset the value in the main function, right? Or rather in the auxiliary function that I'm using. And what I'll do is I'll just straight away go and code the bfs function and do the bfs function, and I'll have a void bfs. I'll have the grid is nothing but a vector of vectors, so this would be grid. I'll have int I, I'll have int j. Now what I'll do is first, before even when I'll call it recursively, I don't want this recursive call to be out of memory, right? So out of memory means that basically means invalid statement. So what I mean is when I'm let's say I'm at this island, at the very particular top island, right? So let's say I'm at this island. So if I'm calling the recursion for this particular index, I don't want to go out of bounds, and I don't want to call a recursion which is not even, for a cell which is not even there in the matrix. So I'll check if my I is is less than 0 or I is greater than or equal to grid dot size, or my j is less than 0 and not and, it would be or j is greater than equal to grid 0 dot size, or what are the different conditions. I would not run bfs in an island which has already traversed. So sorry, yeah, so that would be or grid of I comma j is equal to -1, or I would not run a bfs on a cell which is not a piece of land, or rather which is not which is a water, right? So that would be nothing but or grid of I comma j not is equal to is equal to 0. So if these all conditions, if any one of the condition is satisfied, I'll go ahead and return. I cannot do the bfs. Now what I'll do, for any particular island, if I am at this island 1, so what I'll do is I'll see how many edges. So I'll go up, left, down and right. So what I'll do is if I plus j, or sorry, I plus 1 is valid, and so if I plus 1 is less than grid dot size, and grid of I comma j is equal to or rather absolute value of I comma j is equal to 1, then I will update my edges count, edges plus plus. Okay, all right. Now yeah, so what happens is I plus 1 is nothing, let's say I am here. So if I'm here, okay, so if I'm here, so the last island I encountered was probably this one, and I have made it -1. So this particular statement looks how many land pieces are there which share my common edge. So it will see all in the 4 direction, doesn't matter if it's a -1. -1 does indicate that the BFS will not run on that -1 again, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I would not, you know, take that piece of land. I would not consider that piece of land, because that piece of land will still share a common edge, right? So I'll just go ahead and see if I plus 1 is within limits, and if this is equal to 1, then I'll update my edges. If again, I would just rather do one thing, I would copy this so that I don't have to write it every time. So now this would be I minus 1. If I minus 1 is greater than or equal to 0, then it's valid. And then also do edges plus plus. Again I'll have if, then condition. Now I'll check for the, so I plus 1 and I minus 1 basically checks the down and up side. I'll check for the left side, so that would be nothing but j minus 1, and j minus 1 to be in the limit, it has to be greater than equal to 0, and grid of ij has to be equal to 1, so that I can put all my edges plus plus. If my right hand side, which is nothing but j plus 1, is less than my limit, so if it's less than this, and abs of grid of I comma j, and that particular cell on my right hand side, if it's equal to 1, then I'll do a edges plus plus. So okay, so one thing that I did wrong is when I'm at grid a comma b, I need to see my grid a plus 1, b, a minus 1, b, a b minus 1, and a b plus 1. So I need to go ahead and change these to a plus I plus 1, change this to I minus 1, this to j minus 1, and this to j plus 1. That's it. So this edges count would see how many common edges I share. So for this particular one, for the set of these one and this one, it will run 2 times. For this particular one, it would tell that I have shared 1 edge and 2 edge, and for this particular one, it would tell that I have shared 1 edge. So that's basically 3 edges that I need to separate, subtract from the total edges of all the island combined. Now since I have done this, next step remains very same. I would just call BFS of grid and I plus 1 and j and all the sides, right? For every side again recursively. Grid I and j plus 1, I'll have BFS grid I and j minus 1, and I don't want to call BFS again and again after each if the cell is already being visited. So for a particular cell, I'll mark that particular I comma j cell as -1 when it's already been visited, right? Yeah, so I think this would do, and at the end what I need to return is I would return 4 into count. Okay, so I need to update my count as well. So every time I land upon a new island, I would update my count, right? So here's a count plus plus, so my answer would be nothing but 4 into count minus the total number of common edges. Let's run the code. Yeah, so it does good for this particular example. Let's go ahead and submit it, and it's accepted. Great. So this was all. In the next, I would do 2 problems again. The problem names are +1 and Hamming distance, and those problems would come in the next video. Thank you.